Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of She's Got Game. And I am Sequoia.
And I'm Chanel, and we want to welcome you guys to episode 3. We are making some serious strides. We have our first guest of the show here with us today. We have Mia White. She's a sports anchor for Hot Take Season and for Spot on Sports. So, Mia, thank you so much for being our first guest, especially on Women's History Month.
Thank y'all for having me. I feel so honored to be the first guest.
that's like in the history books. Like no one can ever top that. So we have a stack show today. So basically we can just get right into it. So first on the agenda, we want to congratulate, shout out Dawn Staley and Joni Taylor, who became the first Black women head coaches to go head to head in a conference tournament for a Power 5 program. Super special, super big, super dope. Just to see that, to know that, little Black girls are seeing that. And when they talked to Dawn Staley, she basically was like, it's not a race thing for her. It's an opportunity thing. And I think she said that perfectly. It's perfect. It's an opportunity thing, whether it was Black women or not. I mean, that's huge. When women are breaking barriers, especially in sports, it's a big deal. So they just happen to be the first 2 Black women, and that's what makes it even more special. And when I listened to Joni Taylor's post-game interview, she basically was saying you can't dream what you can't see. And I think that was perfectly said. It sounds simple, but it was perfect. I mean, like what we're doing in sports, what they're doing in sports as coaches, what the WNBA has been doing, like, they're kind of making the road for women, for girls that are going to become women in a few years. So I just wanted to ask you guys, like, as far as you can't dream what you can't see, like, what does that mean to you? We can start with Mia. Like, what does that mean to you personally?
It's hard to visualize yourself in a certain position if you don't have an example of what that could look like. Now, some people have that mentality of, I want to be the first to do this, and they can dream themselves in that position. But a lot of times it takes somebody else to kind of pave the way and break down barriers to make it easier for you to step in some shoes and some circles.
Absolutely, Mia. I totally agree with you 100% because, like you said, if you don't have that person that's in the forefront, like, for example, we can take Lady Vice President right now. Who would ever thought, you know what I mean? Like, you growing up as a young little girl, like, I don't think it came across my mind like, hey, I can be president. I can be vice president of the whole United States, as a Black woman or as a Black little girl. So being able to see that and see that, hey, it can happen, then it puts a whole different perspective in your mind, So seeing those 2 coaches in that position, and at that height of of competition, it's a big deal because, hey, now I see it, I visualize it. So now I know that not only can I play basketball, I can also be a coach, and I can also coach my team all the way, because I saw it happen. The Toronto Raptors are definitely taking the month of March and Women's History Month by the head, and they are, for the first time, on their March 25th game against the Nuggets, they will be having an all-female broadcast team. So from the play-by-plays, from the post-game, pre-game, sideline, the whole deal will be ran by strictly women broadcasters. And I think that is a really, really huge deal. We have Miss Megan McPeak, Kia Nurse, Kayla Gray, Kate Bernes, and Miss Amy Audibert. Now, if I mess up y'all names, ladies, we love y'all. We just want to give you a shout out. Like, we can't wait to see it. We support y'all 100% because that is a huge deal. Just allowing them to get that opportunity to just do it themselves. Because, sometimes guys feel as though, we can't get the job done. And this is pretty much going to prove to them, hey, It's going to be the same game, same basketball, the same takes, the same play-by-plays, but it's just going to be done by women. And I think that is a beautiful thing. So how do y'all feel? Like, is this something that more NBA teams should do? Or should it be just beyond March? Or how do you guys feel about this?
I think it's
and I'm going to start with you, Chanel. Oh,
go ahead. No, go ahead, Chanel.
You want to start, Mia?
Yeah, go ahead.
I think it's definitely something worth other teams trying out. Kudos to the Raptors. I think they're doing a good thing here. It takes everybody to support the efforts of women breaking down barriers. And we kind of saw that with Kobe Bryant before he passed, him taking on the role to support the WNBA and support his daughter in basketball, and just the way that he was able to draw the attention of other people to that sport. So I think the Raptors are doing a very good thing by grabbing this, taking this by the hand and showing other people that, hey, women can do it too.
And I completely agree. And I would add on, I would love to see more teams do this, but I don't want them to just do it like because they want to, for show or for, for clout or, let's get some women in here and do it. Like, you know what I'm saying? I want them to get women who are going to be good at it. You know what I'm saying? Because like the names that you named, like specifically like Megan McPeak, she has been working for so long and so hard. And I know she's good at what she does. You know what I'm saying? So that's what makes it so good as well, because there are women who deserve it, who have been working, who are good at their job, and they deserve an opportunity. So yes, I do want more teams to do it. I just want to make sure they're doing it because women are, for the right reasons. What the women that they want to choose are good, and that basically that's it. I don't want them to do it just because it's women. It's all about equality. We just want equal opportunity. We don't want to be treated any better than anyone. We just want the opportunity that men are getting. And there are a lot of women out there that can do a play-by-play, that can do a broadcast, that can anchor, that can do sideline reporting, and they just deserve a shot. So if any other teams are going to do it, I hope that they do it because they have, the right people to do it, and because of that reason. And not just because it's women. Let's do this as Women's History Month. Let's throw some women on there to show people, like, just to shut everybody up and, do it that way. But I love that they're doing it. I can't wait. I know it's going to be amazing. It's going to be funny. It's going to be entertaining. So I'm super, super excited for that.
Absolutely. And really quick before we move on, I just want to kind of go over this statement that the vice president, Mr. John Wiggins, said. And he pretty much said that they wanted to highlight the contributions that women make individually across many boards of, just pretty much across broadcasting. So they decided to bring everyone all together. And he also went on to say that, yes, we're making a point, and we hope that it leads to more recognition and many other roles that women play in sports. So meaning, like, also how we said, if we don't see it happen, or if we don't, how can we dream it if we never saw it? So not only, us being on a dream as a kid, being the, vice president, whatever, blah, 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 but kids can also watch this and say, hey, I could be a sports analyst or a commentator or da, 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 because I'm just not going to be the moderator of the situation. I can give my opinion, my analysis, my X, Y, and Z. So I think that's a big deal for them, for sure.
But staying in the basketball kind of topic of things, Maya Moore has announced that she will not be returning to play this upcoming season. I have been waiting for this announcement because it's been people haven't really been talking about it. So I'm like, ooh, like, maybe she's gonna sneak and like, come back, just because as a basketball fan and as someone from Connecticut, I love Maya Moore. She is just as amazing as she is on TV. Like, she's such a sweet person. She's been that way since she's been at UConn, when she was at UConn. So she's not returning, but her purpose is bigger. And, you know, we respect that, we appreciate that, because she has been making some serious strides in the community. So, you know, I'm not mad at it. For selfish reasons, of course, I want her to play basketball. But do you guys ever think that she'll return to basketball?
At this point, honestly, sis,
I know.
Listen, at this point, I feel like you're approaching your third season of opting out or of not playing.
Yeah.
So at this point, I feel as though she's not in love with basketball like she once were. And it's not a bad thing, because I mean, sometimes you love something, you do it, you accomplish all that you have to accomplish with that thing. You can still love it, but you got, you love it enough to walk away and pursue something that's bigger than you, that's bigger than that. If you know that you are needed and you can use your voice and your platform doing something that's much bigger. And like she said, her husband now, by taking that time away and, helping getting him out of the justice system and all of the stuff that surrounded that, she said, you start one person at a time, one community at a time, so change just doesn't happen overnight. So with her wanting to just kind of take off another season, because she's enjoying life, outside of basketball. She's enjoying getting that time with her husband. She's enjoying traveling the world. I know she said she's considering the Tokyo Olympics or whatnot, but honestly, I'm not pressed. Like, I don't think she's pressed to even go back. And I honestly think if she retired now, she's still gonna have a legacy that she left behind. Absolutely. And it's not saying that she retired because she can't play no more. Of course she can still play, but more so, I'm retiring because I feel as though my calling is something else now. Like, I'm here to contribute something else that's bigger than me and bigger than basketball. And I can go back and be like, I forgot, Renee, and own a team if I want to. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So I think what she's doing is beyond her. It's really big. And if she don't want to go back to playing basketball, I honestly 100% respect that. And I'm behind her with that. For sure.
Yeah, I think the basketball fan in me, of course, misses her on the court. I'm pretty sure we all do. But at this juncture, it's forget basketball. We have other business to take care of. And so I can really appreciate Maya stepping up and taking charge of that initiative and realizing that, like y'all said, it's bigger than just her. We have other people's lives that are at stake. And I can appreciate her caring enough to say, I'm going to put this on the back seat for right now and help people handle this. And I think it's probably time that she is done with basketball. I don't
say that, Mia. Don't come on the show with that energy. Come on.
I hate to be that person, but I feel like it's one of those things. She's probably dragging it out, but I don't know that I see her coming back. And taking time away from any sport, especially 3 years in a row, it's hard to come back from. And I'm not saying she can't do it. I just don't know if she will do it. I think there's bigger things at stake, and I don't see that changing right now. So I think she does stay away a little longer and pursue other things.
So guys, we're gonna move on from off topic of sports a little bit. Yeah. So I know everyone saw a meme or something going on this past week with the interview dropping with Oprah interviewing Meghan Markle and Prince Harry. Now, this is the first time they were able to sit down and actually tell their truth, and open up and pretty much be vulnerable with the world and let them know what was going on inside of the palace, And let me tell you.
I know. It's a lot.
The interview is a lot to unpack.
It's a lot.
And I just kind of want to get y'all feedback on, what did you, for one, we're going to start with Meghan saying that she got to the point of serious depression and serious to the point where she didn't trust herself by herself. She didn't trust her. She wanted to, kill herself. She wanted to commit suicide. And that is something that is super, super, super serious. Like, that's deep. You're super unhappy, and it's like you're miserable. I know that she also said that she wanted to go out to lunch with friends, just be a regular girl, you know, and she haven't left the house. She said she left the house twice over in 4 months. And it's a lot to unpack. And I know that the culture over there is different than here for sure. But how do you guys feel about that interview? Like, what did it make you feel, Chanel?
Oh gosh, I don't. It's just so sad, you know. Like, you don't know what people are going through, and you know, we've seen the tabloids, and we see stories like that this, you know, the last few years, and you kind of like ignore it, and you know, they're famous, and you know, they're used to it, but they're regular people. She had a regular, schmegular life, you know, before becoming a part of this family. You know, that's a huge culture shock. And I can only imagine for someone to not want to live, you know what I'm saying? For someone to feel bad enough to want to take their own life, that just hurts. You know what I'm saying? And it makes me sad because it was because of things that could have been prevented. You know what I'm saying? It's because she was getting treated terribly. It was because she couldn't, you know, leave the house, you know. She was dealing with her own personal things, like even going up to the wedding, you know. And I just feel like a lot of us go through it, and especially Black women, but as always, we have to put on this brave face, and we have to keep it together. And the minute we don't keep it together, and the minute we, you know, say something is wrong or something was wrong, you know, we're weak, or we get questioned, or, you know, it becomes a thing where, you know, well, who did she tell she was feeling this way? Or who did it, like, it becomes a discussion. It doesn't matter who she told. It doesn't matter if she told anybody. It doesn't matter, you know, what made her feel that way. The only thing that matters is that she felt that way. And I'm glad that she was able to speak in her truth. And, you know, I'm glad that she has the husband that, you know, she does have, because, and I respect Prince Harry so much. Absolutely. Because he loves her, you know, and he's not going to let anything, you know, happen to her.
Absolutely.
I think for me, it really amplified that these things don't just take place in America, especially with like racism, because you have so many Americans who are blind to it around the world, and it really is a world issue. As far as her being suicidal, that was a lot to unpack. I don't think anybody can ever walk into a situation and prepare themselves for something like that. You have people who are like, well, she knew she was marrying royalty. You don't ever prepare yourself to go through something like that, you know? And so it is a lot. And like you said, Chanel, shout out to Prince Harry for sticking by her and forsaking all others, as your wedding vows say, and getting his wife out of that situation. He had to go against his own family. And that's something that's not easy to do. But he loved her enough to do that, and it benefited his child in the end as well. And so, yeah, it's just a lot to take away from all of that situation. I don't think you ever prepare yourself for it, and he essentially helped himself get out of that trap as well. And we know how the media tries to spin things, and I don't like how they tried to vilify her either. It's like the situation of, oh, he's married now, so he thinks he's got to be different, or he has to act different, yada, yada, yada. And that's not necessarily the case. I think you have to let people know, hey, this is how you are, and you're wrong. And it spilled out the way that it did, but at least now they've been put on notice.
Speaking of, we're going to stay on this topic. Speaking of Meghan Markle, so we all know about the Piers Morgan. I roll my eyes just thinking about it. So Piers Morgan, he'd been all up in the news. But it's only for one show. Like, this all happened for one day. So I guess we can introduce it. We're gonna get into That's a Read. But before I start what we're reading him for, so he basically quit because he walked off set in the middle of the broadcast of the show because someone was calling him out on his stuff.
Siblings experience tragedy in their life, and one will be absolutely fine and brush it off, and the other will not be able to deal with it so strongly. And that's clearly what has happened with Prince Harry in this situation. He walked behind his mother's coffin at a tender age in front of the globe. That is going to shape a young boy for the rest of his life. So I think that we need to all take a step back. And I understand that you don't like Meghan Markle. You've made it so clear a number of times on this programme, a number of times. And I understand that you've got a personal relationship with Meghan Markle, or had one, and she cut you off. She's entitled to cut you off if she wants to. Has she said anything about you since she cut you off? I don't think she has, but yet you continue to trash her.
Okay, I'm done with this.
No.
Sorry, no. Sorry.
So, do you know what? That's pathetic.
You can trash me, mate, but not mine.
No. I'm being...
Sorry, can't do
This
this.
is absolutely diabolical behaviour. I'm sorry, but Piers spouts off on a regular basis, and we all have to sit there and listen. 6:30 to 7 o'clock yesterday was incredibly hard to watch.
Okay, so that video within itself is so cringy, so disgusting. For him to comment on what she's wearing, it doesn't matter if they weren't on TV or not. Like, the fact that they were on live TV makes it even worse, but the fact that he feels comfortable enough to comment on what she's wearing and have her get up to show what she's wearing, who are you? Like, I hate that men feel so entitled and they feel like, you know, they can comment on anything a woman does. You know what I'm saying? That has nothing to do with him. And for me, it was more cringy because she was kind of trying to defend herself. And also you can tell she felt uncomfortable because she kept saying, okay, there's other news, like there's other things more important. And I feel like as women, like, we always have to keep our composure. We always have to, like what you said, like we always have to make everyone else feel them are like to make people feel comfortable around us. And that's a perfect example. You know, she deserved to go off on him on camera, you know, for him to humiliate her that way. And I just feel like as women, we need to be respected more. They should not have let that happen. They should have cut that right then and there. You know what I'm saying? And that just shows like how far we have to go. I'm glad he's not going to be there anymore, but I'm just so tired of men feeling like they can say whatever they want to women about women. Even for him to say what he said about Meghan Markle, like, you have no place to say that. So I just want to know what you guys thought about it. It really irked me so much. It made me so upset.
I think Piers is the example of a bully. And if you go back and look at the clip, you see what happens when somebody stands up to him. He walks
right.
Out. But he feels compelled to call somebody else out and, you know, and try to have that type of attitude towards someone else, and they're just supposed to accept it. And so it's one of those situations to where I see why he hung around so long, why he had his job so long, but I also don't understand how the network allowed him to stay around so long, because this isn't the first time that we've seen him act this way. He's one of he's one of those people who feels entitled and feels he can do and say what he wants to do. And nobody is supposed to say anything, but once he's challenged, he's going to pout about it. And so finally he's pouted about it and he's sent on his way, but I think it's been a long time coming.
Absolutely, and I agree with both of you. Honestly, from him, he's cringy for me, and I get mad sexist master vibes from him, and I don't like it. I need some sage around here or something. But he's just, for one, instead of him what he did, quit the show after someone called him out on his own stuff. First of all, don't dish it out if you can't take it. Number one. Number two, he shouldn't have been able to quit. He should have got his butt fired. First of all, or suspended. Fired.
That's a whole nother conversation.
Reaction, for sure. That should have happened with that whole situation. For one, him speaking up on Megan, and for two, him earlier in the show calling out his female colleague like that. That's not cool, because that had nothing to do with why we're on television. No one even saw my mini skirt. I am on it. Even if it was a mini skirt, it ain't none of your damn business. I'm sorry we can't say that on the show, but that ain't none of your business. Seriously. And like, I'm sitting down. So for you to say, hey, get up, show everybody or whatever. And like you said, we always have to keep our composure and dim our light to make everybody else feel comfortable around us and bite our tongue, you know. And I just got just mad sexist vibes from him. And I don't think that's something that he can continue to get away with. And he has a personal vendetta against Megan. And I think I saw an interview earlier too with him. He was on someone's show and pretty much was saying how he went out on a date with Megan, and after that she met the prince and he never heard from her again. So he got mad, he got ghosted basically. And so now you got a personal vendetta against her, and to say that she's lying about being suicidal, that's something you don't question people about. You don't question it. If any question you're gonna ask him is, how can I help you? Right. That's the question that he should have asked her. So whatever his name is, he can go on.